see what we've got here. This is my headlining. There's some piping for around the rear quarter lights. Nice thick, nice heavy band on that. I'll come back to that bit. Seems to be an awful lot of cloth here. Pause this while I unwrap it. Right, change of scenery. It keeps threatening to rain and it's raining now. I'm going to do this tomorrow if the weather's okay. I don't want to work outside and I don't want to be working in the wind and the rain. Seems to be an awful lot of cloth here. So I just want to see what we've actually got. So that'll be the front, I reckon. And this will be the bit around the back window. I just want to check the measurements to see how they compare with what I took. I've got this back to front, let's put it around the right. So let's actually go that way around. So at the back wanted roughly 16 inches. And I've got 2 foot, that's good. And the next one along is 8 inches. And that says 7.5. Next one's 7 3/4. That's about right. Then 11. That says 10. 10.5, and I've got 10. I measured 9, and I've got 8. And this is the front bit, which I needed about 8 inches, and I've got 9. So, oh well. Let's see how that figures. They don't actually snip this. This has got to be cut, and my guesstimate was a gap of 42 inches. So that's going to leave 3 inches either end, roughly. That's the piping that I've looked at. presumably this is just cloth. There seems to be an awful lot. I think I've only got to cover the rear quarter panels. Whoa, wind's picking up. I don't know what all this is for. I seem to have masses of cloth here. And there's a piece there which is probably 54 inches wide by, I don't know, 16 inches. Another one the same. And then this massive piece of cloth, which is 6 foot long, 3 foot wide. I don't know where that goes. Right, a few things before I get started. Calmer day today. So here's my headlining laid out. That's all I've got left of my old one. Just wait for some traffic to go by. Right. So these are the measurements between the hoops that were fixed to the car. Now this is the front, and I needed roughly 8 inches plus, and they've given me 9.5, so that's all right. Then all these measurements vary. So we've got 8 against 9, 10.5, 9 3/4, 11, 9.5. Anyway, they're all different. And if I add all those up and all these up, this is 3.5 inches shorter. So it would appear that the bows have to be spaced a little bit different. Now I've got just about the right enough material on the front, and I've got loads on the back. I measured 16 plus, and I've got 20 odd inches, 22 inches there. I've got plenty at the back. Another thing, looking at other YouTube videos, when they get to the end here, they snip it to let the bow come through, and I'm not sure that happens here, because I reckon there was 42 inches of flat roof before it dipped down. This is my old one, and I've marked the centre here of where it was. And looking at these rusty marks, these bows seem to go possibly right up to the end. We've got this rusty pocket, and then this is where they were tacked, so that's virtually to the end. So we'll try them to the end first and see what happens. These are my bows here. They are numbered, but it's very faint on mine, they're quite rusty. And I put a cable tie in. This is where there was the hole that was used to screw it to the car. That one had 2 in, and these obviously just had 1. So I'll start putting that together now. These bars only just about go through that curve in the end. And the cloth's about the right length on some of these, but on the front ones I've got too much pocket. It's always a bit scary when you're going to take some off. And that end one's about right. I've got about an inch sticking out each end. But this front one is, and the second one, pocket's too long. I'm not going to cut it just yet though. So I think I'll start from somewhere in the middle. Work towards the front to make sure I've got enough cloth at the front, because that's where I just might be short. This is my number 3 location for the hoop, and I'd say this is where Jaguar started from, because there's two. This is the only one with 2 screws in it, like a fixed point, and as you can see they've fixed it right towards the back of the car. So if I fix it more forward, that'll give me more on the next one, number 2 there, and I think that'll help me out. And this is where I am. I've actually just used the old holes, and if you start with number 3, which is this one here, I'll put 2 screws in that, so that more or less has to stay upright and it won't move. And the other hoops just have 1 screw in, and they will hinge, and you just keep pulling and pushing. And I've fixed the first 3. The back ones aren't fixed, they're just pushed into place, but they look like they're going to be good. And the back ones, you can fix those anywhere, because you've got that big long plate that you can fix them to. So that's looking pretty good. Well, so far so good. And not going too bad. That's the front of the car, centre point. These wrinkles here will come out because there's too much, this pocket's too long, so I'll trim that back a bit, let some cloth come that way. Here the pocket becomes sort of right, and once I've stretched it down and tacked it, so they've all got 1 screw in except for number 3, and then when I get to number 6, the last one here, at the moment it's just got 1 screw in. I should just pull that tight and get another screw in, so that almost remains rigid. And it's not critical where these pockets are, well, not too much anyway, because this hoop will swing either way. So I don't know what I was so worried about. We're off front of the car, and that's glued up to the windscreen. Some surplus to cut off there. So now have a look at these. See if these will clean up to a respectable finish. I've got a rubber which I bought at Stoneleigh a couple of years ago, windscreen rubber. I think it's got a date on it of 1990, but it still feels quite soft, and hopefully old rubber is better than new rubber. They're both before and after, and that's full of a black, crusty, hard, gooey stuff, which paint strippers remove that. And after, quite pleased. That's must be brass, this, It's just worn a little bit on the sides there. That's perfectly good enough for me. Rear window, see if I can improve the ceiling situation on that. The glass cleaned up, which is cleaned up okay, a few little scratches, but that's okay. And here I have a new seal. Is it going to be a continuous length or is it going to be in a circle? And it's in a circle. So far so good. Still needs pulling sideways to get those wrinkles out there, but it's flat back and forth. That's good. Back window's in. Well, I think it's in. It could do going in a bit more. It still feels a little bit out. So a bit more bushing on that. And when I bought the car, I noticed that this was missing out the back window. So the seller said, "Oh, I'll get you one for another car." And there we are. It fits there. It's about a foot too long. So that's obvious off something else. So I'm one of those short now. Anyway, that's it for today.